and it's about time we address the situation and begin to get back to you. We hope the candle might vigil for your self-respect. Reputation destroyed by what you can expect to be.
This program is a collaboration of personal opinions and individual free thought. It does not represent the views or narrative of the mainstream corporate media hacks. Viewer discretion.
And here we go. Live from the bell tower, taking a stand for your dreams. You're listening to the Hello, yeah. What's going on? Hello, hello.
Check? What is happening?
Hello, hello.
I don't know what's going on. It's really
It is. I feel like
check. How about no? We have like a weird, stupid echo going on.
echo.
This is really dumb. Let me check out of your footing. What is happening?
You got the echo cancel.
Check. Check.
Check.
Check. Check.
Check.
Check.
Check.
Check. I don't know what's happening. This is really dumb. Huh? Well, we might have to get out of this and come back.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
We'll be right back. Check. Check. We're here? So far? Hello?
Sounds good.
So far?
So far.
So far it sounds good until I add you and you screw everything up.
As usual.
We're having technical difficulties. Bear with us for hopefully not long.
Hello?
Check. Talk.
Check. Check. So far, so good.
So far, so good. We're going to try this shit out again.
All right.
Live from the bell tower, taking a stand for your rights, your liberties, and all the bullshit in between. You're listening to Ring the Bell Podcast.
All right, let's try this again.
It always works the third time.
I don't know what's going on, but we're here. It seems like the last few weeks we've just had audio issues. We're here, and Derek's here. He says, "What's up?"
Hey,
Derek.
Derek, we're pretty close to being on time.
We were on time, and then the audio
Yeah.
was weird. I guess I should probably test that beforehand, but you would have thought it would have been right. I mean, I don't
Nothing
change
changed.
like literally anything. So we're here though. Welcome to the Break the Bell podcast, the
Yes.
home where the place where we still screw up every single week, even
That's
though we've been doing this
3.5 years.
3.5 years now. So you know what to expect from us. We know what to expect from us. We don't even try to pretend to be anything other than non-professionals these days. So how's it going, Bill? We're here on a Monday
good.
night. Isn't
I
that
know.
weird?
It
It's
feels
really
good.
weird.
It feels like home, right?
It feels weird is
It
what
does.
it feels.
I know.
Because,
I know.
I mean, it's been a while.
It
So I
has.
think we had a week off, and then we had a Wednesday night, then we had a
Yeah.
Tuesday night, or vice. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't
It
know.
was weird.
But I
It's
think
just
we're
been
good
weird.
until Christmas now.
You say that, but something always comes up.
Probably.
So something will come up, I'm sure. So what are you guys all up to these days? What's tickling your fancy? What's interesting you? Because, I mean, the news is still the same.
Yeah, nothing good there. Nothing good there.
I mean, politics are coming around.
Yeah.
Did you hear?
Yeah.
Did anything come out of this recent election last week? Did you hear anything good? Anything juicy?
No, all I heard is the true winner was Trump.
Trump was the true. Like,
Yes.
why?
I guess people were chanting his name
Oh, at what?
at the debate.
Oh, there's a.
Yeah, there was a Republican debate.
Oh yeah, there was a Republican
Yeah.
debate, but he wasn't there. And
Right. Yeah, he hasn't been allowed to attend.
What for? What?
I
reason?
don't. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Do they think that's really going to
I know.
stop anything?
Right.
I mean, does Trump have to go to the debates
I
these
don't think
days?
so. I don't think
I
so.
feel like everybody knows who Donald Trump is. Everybody
Yeah.
knows what Donald Trump stands for. So he doesn't. It's not like he has to get up there and be like, "Oh, I'm going to tell you all my big plan." I'm pretty sure
Yeah, that you know who he is.
he's. I'm going to make America great again.
Is that Magay?
McGay. We're going to be talking politics tonight because I stumbled across. I was just sometimes when I can't find news to talk about, I just scroll through like the hashtags, the popular hashtags on Twitter
Yeah.
to see what other people are
Okay.
like getting upset about. And one thing that piqued my interest, and it always does when something's titled like agenda something or
Right.
project something or this or that, and this. It said project 2025. I'm like,
Mhm.
what is that? That sounds ominous. It sounds scary.
Right. Yes.
So I looked it up, and apparently, according to some, Donald Trump is planning on like hauling the entire government and kicking everybody out and
Yes.
instilling fascism, ending
Yes.
democracy as we
Yes.
know it, and that's what Project
Putting
2025
himself
obviously
as the
is.
sole lord and dictator of the United States.
And probably the world too. And
Yes,
I
definitely.
mean, if you read some sources, that's exactly what this Project 2025 is.
Yes.
So I want to talk about it because that sounds interesting to me.
And it piqued my interest because last week I was at a customer's house, and she was a very large Trump fan.
I thought you were going to say she was a very large woman. she's very large.
Bill, that's a little rude.
Not sure what that has to do with any of this, but she was.
Eh,
If it matters, she was extremely large.
Yes. And she just kept saying, she's like, well, you wait, 2025 is when we get our country back. And I didn't know, but then she was talking about like the secret plan of Trump's and all this.
Okay, I do want to hear that, but maybe we should
Let's. I was just prefacing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me know, like, what did she say? But then I'm like, we're still pre-show, so I guess we don't want to.
Yeah, we don't want to jump.
Usually,
the shark.
you're jumping the shark.
I do often. Yes.
Yeah, so I guess I almost got ahead of myself there, but that does sound interesting because I haven't heard much from. Because you text me, you're like, man, the Q people are going crazy again. I'm like, I haven't really
like,
heard
what's going
this.
on?
Like, yeah, what is this thing that you're talking about?
Mhm.
And I think you were in the middle of a job or something. You
Mm-hmm.
you gave me a little bit of it, and I was just like, I think I was in the middle of a job, and I was like, I don't have time for this shit.
Mhm.
So this is where we talk about that shit that we don't normally have time for.
Yes.
So we're gonna get into all that. We're gonna talk about this Project 2025, see if it is exactly what the critics or the hard left or the whatever the MSNBCs of the world are calling it, or
the Trump disciples.
the Trump disciples. Because I don't know, from like face value, I'd say it pretty much sounds exactly like what Trump ran on the first time. It's like, gonna drain the swamp, gonna lock her up, I'm gonna blah blah blah, like all that stuff. But like maybe like on steroids.
Right.
It's like Trump 2016 campaign amplified.
Well, it almost like Trump like learned his lessons from the first time.
Right.
And so now he knows, okay, I need to trim the hedges here.
But then on the other side, all the critics sound exactly like they've sounded for the last 7 years too. It's like, oh, he's going to end democracy and instill fascism. You should hear his plan. It's like, you've been saying that since 2016 though. So I don't know what side to take serious anymore. And the scary thing is, he could be about to become the next Adolf Hitler, and I wouldn't take it seriously because they've been saying this for so long that this is the next step towards ending democracy.
Right.
And I feel like people like us are exactly what allowed Hitler to take control when he did, because they're just like, oh, this dumb artist, he was in jail, he just runs his mouth and screams.
Did you see that stupid mustache?
Yeah, he just screams a lot. I don't know what you guys are all getting upset about. No, I don't know. I'm not the reason why Hitler will take control again, but I don't know. I don't know where this goes. I don't know what Donald Trump's big move is. I don't think he's the sinister evil villain.
No,
but I could be wrong.
And I don't think he's Batman either.
No, you don't think he's Bruce Wayne? I mean, he is rich enough to be Bruce Wayne.
He may be, yes, but
but not that smart.
I'd like
Doesn't
to see
have
him
the cool
jump
toys.
from building top to building top.
We're gonna get into this episode. I don't know how long it's gonna be because I mean it's just a lot of conjecture, really.
Yeah.
Unless you read, because there's like a 900-page book. That
Yeah,
this group
right.
wrote.
920-page, which is free on heritage.org.
Yeah. So unless you read this book, you won't know the exact plan of it. And I'm not about to do that because I don't want to. So instead, I'm just going to bullshit about it for the next 2+ hours, and then, or maybe less, maybe more, who knows? And then we'll just laugh about it because that's what we do here on the show.
Yes.
Make sure you check us out all over social medias, hit that like and subscribe button, and share us as far and wide as you can, so you can learn about important things like this shit that doesn't matter anyways, like Project 2025.
Yes.
Share it with your friends and your families and your grandmas and your grandpas and everybody, so they can have a laugh with us, and we can just laugh as this ship burns and sinks to the bottom of the ocean.
Yes.
We're going to get right into this intro video. Oh, social medias. Our handle is at Break the Bell Pod all over the social medias. Make sure you check that out and share it. That's about it. I got so thrown off by the freaking audio that I don't even know what I'm doing. So let's just get right into this intro video and let's talk Project 2025.
Let's do it.
We'll be right back.
What did you say?
You talking to me?
What the heck are you talking about?
What did you say?
What did you say? What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
What are you saying?
What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Well, maybe he was talking to me.
What'd you say?
Talk to me.
What in heaven's name are you talking about?
Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, baby.
Did you just say?
What did you say?
You listen to me. Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me?
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
All right, we're back.
Yes.
So I think it's pretty safe to say that the whole narrative of Donald J. Trump wanting to take total control and become like the first U.S. dictator,
Yes.
it's not a new concept.
No, it's been out there for a long time.
Pretty much since he came down the escalator,
Right.
that's been the narrative out there. It's like, oh, he just wants to, he's a Nazi. He wants to instill fascism. He wants to be a dictator. Like all this stuff.
Yeah.
They called him Hitler. They called him a Nazi. They called him all the things, all the fascist things that you could think of. They've called him that. And so when something like this comes out, it's just like, yeah, it's no surprise that you'd be
Right.
saying this. But there's more.
Yes.
But wait, there's more, apparently. Like I said, the whole drain the swamp, lock her up conjecture, they're like
Right.
the whole thing has been his mantra since he was running against Hillary. Do you remember Hillary Clinton? You remember her?
Unfortunately, yes.
Remember that broad?
I try to remember. I've tried to forget her.
I mean, he's been talking about draining the swamp since Hillary Clinton was a
Yeah.
thing.
Well, and that was what he was elected on. Was he's
Well, yeah.
going to drain the swamp,
And-
right?
But the thing is, he didn't lock her up.
No.
He didn't drain the swamp.
He
So
did not.
now it's like, I'm going to do it again. But this time I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to drain the swamp. And I'm going to probably lock her up too.
Right.
Do you believe it when he...
No, I mean, if he follows through on this plan, that it's possible.
Right.
I'm not going to jump the shark, so that's all I'll say about that. But he's definitely never going to put Hillary in jail.
What about Joe Biden?
No, he's
What
too
about...
old.
Who else is his biggest
Obama?
enemies? Yeah, what about Obama? Is he going to lock Obama up?
No, but maybe Michael.
Maybe Michael. I can see that. I lost my biggest article, the best article.
No, is that the salon one?
Yes.
Oh.
Hang on, I gotta find it.
Yeah.
Hang on. So recently, it seems that some of Trump's more blowhard supporters
Yes.
are stepping up that same dialogue, the lock her up, drain the swamp dialogue.
Right.
They're coming out like this whole Project 2025. It's an actual thing. It's
Yes.
not like this is something necessarily that the left has made up just to
Right.
say, look what he's doing.
Yeah.
Look what this guy did.
It's nothing that anybody's hiding, and on the other part of it, it's nothing that it's not a surprise to anybody. All it does for the left is that for them it confirms all their greatest fears.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this is like on paper.
Yeah.
At least how they're translating it. Like I said,
Right.
I didn't read the 900 some page document
Slacking.
book, but from what they're translating it as, this is the end. This is the end game here.
Yeah,
like
right.
his opponents are sounding the alarms.
Right.
His supporters are stepping up the game of the lock 'em up the game, the drain the swamp game, and that's kind of what this whole Project 2025 hashtag or fiasco has kind of morphed into. And a part of me wants to think that this is all just a game. It's just all a big freaking simulation game. It's just like take 2016, put it on steroids. We've got the locker up now turns into the let's lock them all up in Guantanamo Bay and like take over the government and all the shit. And then on the other side, it's he wants to be Adolf Hitler and a dictator and end democracy and end votes,
take all our freedoms away.
Yep, and lock up the LGBTQ community and put all the illegal aliens into I don't know, probably kill them all.
Yeah,
who
send
knows?
them into the sun.
It's just like I have a hard time believing anything now when it comes to politics. On either side. But we always talk about like the big agenda of the left, like the WEF, like the
Reset,
Great Reset,
Agenda 21,
2030, whatever they call it.
Yeah, whatever they keep pushing it back.
So now I guess we got to take a look at the other side, which is this Project 2025, which isn't nearly as cool as
it really is not.
It's Agenda 2030 because it's not about like killing off half the population like Agenda 2030 is
colonies.
So it's like they're not trying as hard.
Not. I know. I'm really disappointed in the right.
Like the left agendas are like we want to control the world and control all the food supplies and kill off half the world so they're not eating our steaks and put everybody in boxes and stuff. And then the right's like, oh, we're evil masterminds. We just want to control the executive branch.
Right. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. Can you imagine what we could do controlling the executive branch? It's like you're not thinking big enough.
I know.
You're not thinking big picture here.
Exactly.
It's like global
At least
domination.
kill off the bureaucratic branch.
Right. Exactly. So I wanted to first look at, like, usually we're like, let's talk about what it is, and then let's talk about the big fiasco that they're calling it.
Okay.
I want to go the other way. I want to go worst case scenario.
Okay.
This
I like
salon.
I like worst case scenario.
Salon.com because this just lays it out there for you.
Good. Yeah. With the crack journalism of Salon.
Right. Derek says, how long you guys been live? Apparently the Wi-Fi I was using is controlled by communists and I couldn't watch the stream.
Oh, not long, Derek.
We were live and then we were late and then we came back because of
technical
tech issues. We just got through the intro video and kind of the pre-show, and you're getting here for the juicy stuff.
This is the meat.
Yeah. Salon.com. This is the title of this article. Trump plans to become a dictator. Denial will not save you.
Oh, it won't?
I mean, they're definitely not easing us into this by any stretch.
I'm surprised they're just not saying like, you could be next.
It's pretty much what it is. It's like, we're all fucked, guys.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to be an alarmist, but we're all fucked completely.
You better learn English, okay?
Donald Trump is a dictator in waiting. Like other dictators, he is threatening to put his enemies in prison. Didn't both sides didn't Biden put his enemies in prison?
I
Not
believe so.
Well, I mean, they've been working to indict Trump since he took office.
Yeah. How many charges has Trump been fighting for the last year?
I don't know.
A lot.
He is threatening to put his enemies in prison and to do even worse things to them.
Ooh.
This is great. I'm glad you didn't read this because I can experience this with you. These are not idle threats or empty acts of ideation. Donald Trump is a violent man who is a proven enemy of democracy and freedom.
He does seem a little violent.
These threats of violence against his enemies are part of a much larger pattern of violent and dangerous behavior that is only growing worse as he faces criminal trials and the possibility of going to prison for hundreds of years. What is this?
Wow.
Hundreds of years.
I must have missed something.
I did too. Did he already murder people?
I think he must have, and we missed it.
Hundreds of years. Wow.
I'm impressed.
So that's how you know that we're setting the stage with that first
Yes.
paragraph. That's how you know how the rest of this article is going to go. Derek says even worse things like butt stuff. He's definitely threatened butt stuff against his enemies.
Definitely. With his tiny hands.
In the most recent example, Donald Trump told Glenn Beck during an interview last week that he's going to put President Biden and other enemies in prison when he takes the White House in 2025. And butt stuff. In a Sunday evening post on his Truth Social disinformation social media platform, this is definitely non-biased.
Yes, not at all.
Trump was even more explicit with his threats of violence and harm, threatening that he would treat Biden and other enemies like they do in banana republics. All right, so this is the quote here. You ready?
Yes, let's hear it.
You ready for the violence?
I want to hear the violence.
The crooked Joe Biden has thrown so many indictments and lawsuits against me that Republicans are already thinking about what we are going to do to Biden and the communists when it's our turn. They have started a whole new banana republic way of thinking about political campaigns. So cheap and dirty. But that's where America is right now. Be careful what you wish for.
Wow, that's horrible.
That's the quote that we're going off of.
That's violent right there.
They started a whole new banana republic way of thinking about political campaigns. That's what this whole article is based around. Now they have to define what a banana republic is.
Oh, good.
In banana republics,
I thought it was just like a shirt line.
That's probably what he's talking about.
Yeah.
In banana republics, the enemies of the leader and the regime are usually imprisoned, tortured, executed, and face death squads and mass executions.
Wow, they got a lot out of that sentence.
Trump himself has publicly expressed his admiration for murderous dictators and autocrats such as Vladimir Putin and North Korea's dictator Kim Jong-un.
Did he?
He tried to see eye to eye with them.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And he did say Putin's a really good guy.
Okay.
Once in a while. The corporate news media, with MSNBC being a notable exception.
Oh, yes.
The corporate news media has mostly ignored Trump's recent threats to kill and imprison President Joe Biden and other enemies of the MAGA movement.
Oh.
It's even in all red words here.
I know. I love that.
To kill and imprison. First of all, how do you kill
and then imprison?
That, I mean, that's how it's like. I'm not just gonna kill him, and then when I'm done killing him, I'm gonna lock him up with Hillary Clinton. As is their policy, most ignored Trump's recent threats to kill and imprison President Joe Biden and other enemies of the MAGA movement. Ignoring the danger will not make it disappear or otherwise go away. Moreover, to ignore Trumpism and neo-fascism is to normalize them. During an interview Saturday on MSNBC, Miles Taylor, who is a senior member of Trump's administration and author of the New York Times Anonymous op-ed, warned that the ex-president's desires to imprison his enemies are not new. They're not new. He's been saying it since the day he went down the escalator.
Yes.
I'm going to lock her up.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He's going to kill her. Did you hear him say this is a banana republic? He's going to fucking kill her. No, he wants to lock people up that he claims are the bad guy. I'm not saying he's necessarily right, but I'm not saying he's necessarily wrong to say, I want to lock these people up. Do I think Hillary Clinton should be in jail? Fuck yeah, I do. Do I think Joe Biden should be in jail? Absolutely, I do. Does that make me want to be a banana republic dictator, neo-fascist, Putin, Kim Jong-un?
Maybe.
Like they're lumping all those together like they're the same thing.
Yeah, they are now. They're all synonymous with each other.
Even though Kim Jong-un is communist.
Yeah.
And Putin is whatever Putin is,
oligarchist,
and Hitler is super ultra conservative.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Fascist.
A number of folks. So this is that guy.
Okay,
that was working with him that said this is not a novel concept that Trump wants to lock people up.
Yeah.
A number of folks who worked in the Trump administration with me and have since spoken out against the ex-president. We joke darkly about the fact that in a second term, a number of us will be in orange jumpsuits in Guantanamo Bay. I say that the comment is half facetious because Donald Trump actually did have a vision while I was in the administration to go use the terrorist prison at Guantanamo Bay to house political prisoners. And in that case, what he wanted to do is use it to move people from the southern border to send a message and put them in the same place where people like the mastermind behind 9/11 attacks sits behind bars and send a message. So he also wants to lock all the immigrants in Guantanamo Bay too. I could see him saying that.
Yeah.
The only reason Trump didn't start sending people to Gitmo is because he was convinced it would be too expensive and the facility couldn't house the number of people he wanted to send there. I really don't feel like that's the only reason he didn't.
Yeah, right.
It's like, well, why can't I house them in Guantanamo Bay? Well, it's not big enough. Damn it. Can we build a bigger Guantanamo Bay? Like, I feel like he's just like, we should lock all those fuckers up in Guantanamo Bay. And they're like, you really mean that? He's like, fuck yeah, I mean it. And then he's just like,
yeah.
Obviously, it's just him running his freaking Donald Trump mouth. But these people took him very seriously. That was the mindset of a man when he was president of the United States. You have seen him since double down on his intention again to use the justice system for political purposes.
Oh, Biden doesn't do that?
Really? I mean, we're frowning upon using the justice system for political purposes.
Well,
that's what we're doing now
for the wrong political purposes.
Okay. Specifically admitting he would do so to go after his enemies. I think it's very chilling. If I were to bet on who's going to be the next president of the U.S., I would put my money on Donald Trump. Obviously, that's the last thing I want to see. But if I had to make a bet today, despite the impeachments and the indictments and the widespread opposition, I think he's likely to become the next president. This is that ex-member of his administration. Our democracy, it says that should be a 5-alarm fire for our democracy. Our democracy right now is at very grave risk of going through a period of destruction. As the saying goes, Stalin was bad, but little Stalins were a hell of a lot worse. And that is what we're seeing in a second Trump turn. As bad as Donald Trump will be if he wins, his lieutenants will likely be the people who are even more evil than he is. That is going to be true of Trump's successors too, because they will be following his authoritarian playbook to win the MAGA base. What do you think of that statement so far by that guy? Like, Trump's bad, but Trump, like, the blowhard Trump followers are a lot more dangerous.
I would argue that the blowhard Trump followers are even more dangerous.
That's what he's saying. Like Stalin was bad, but the little guy, his little minions were worse because they just took things into their own hands, saying this is for good of Stalin. Well, and I agree with that. Like,
I do, yeah.
I've seen some really shitty Trump supporters.
Absolutely.
Like, really shitty ones that are like the poster child of why people hate Donald Trump, because of the really shitty, actually racist some of the Trump supporters.
Yeah, the people that take Donald Trump and they project on him what they want, and turns out they're worse.
Yeah. It goes on.
Yes.
During a fake interview with former Fox News host Tucker Carlson 2 weeks ago. So was Tucker Carlson impersonating an interview actually with Donald Trump? He was pretending to interview him, but it was fake. It wasn't actually. I don't understand.
I think anything Trump does is considered fake. For
them.
Okay.
Yes. And Tucker Carlson.
Yes.
During a fake interview.
Yes.
I don't care how fake-ish of a person he is and how shitty of a personality Tucker Carlson is. If Tucker Carlson is interviewing him, it's not a fake interview.
It's a real interview.
It's an action. Like, you're not legitimizing Donald Trump by saying an actual interview took place.
Right.
You're not. You can say that.
Yeah.
That you're going a little too hard here. During a fake interview with former Fox News host Tucker Carlson 2 weeks ago, Trump engaged in obvious acts of mental projection and fantasy as he shared his fears of being assassinated by the left, the Democrats, the deep state, and other imagined enemies.
Imagined enemies?
Oh, yeah.
Like ones that want to put him in jail?
These lies are part of the right-wing disinformation campaign in service to the big lie that Trump won the 2020 presidential election.
Lie.
No evidence exists to support such claims. Okay. We'll just go past that.
Yes, okay.
The reality is law enforcement and other experts have repeatedly warned. Now, this is great. We're talking about Donald Trump, right?
Yes.
And the fake interviews. And now there's this paragraph that fits nowhere in this other than fear porn.
Right.
Law enforcement and other experts have repeatedly warned and documented that the greatest threat to the country's domestic safety is from far-right extremism. One such right-wing terrorist, a neo-Nazi terrorist, murdered 3 black people at a Dollar General store in Jacksonville, Florida 2 Saturdays ago. What does that have to do with the rest of this fucking article?
Right. They're just
First of all, have you heard anything in this article yet about Project 2025?
No.
Or just about Donald Trump and how scary he is. And 3 black dudes were murdered in Dollar General 2 weeks ago.
Which, by somebody that they're associating with Trump, and for
Yeah.
what reason?
Well,
'Cause
first
he's white?
they got, the story or whatever they're trying to talk about.
Yeah.
Has very little weight in it
Mhm.
because of the amount of buildup they're playing into
Yeah.
it to start with. It's like, remember Donald Trump, guys.
Yeah.
Remember he's bad.
Yeah.
Remember he wants to lock up and possibly kill his enemies.
Right.
And then remember right-wing people and how dangerous they are. You know, there's 3 black dudes that got killed 2 weeks ago
Dollar
at Dollar
General?
General.
Yeah.
Now wait till you hear what the conservatives have in store for you.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, what fucking buildup was that?
Yeah, right.
The enemies Trump and his next regime want to put in prison, or worse, include not just President Biden, the Democrat Party's leadership, and the members of law enforcement who are prosecuting Trump for his crimes, but all people who he and the Republican fascists and MAGA movement deem to be the enemy and un-American. If you do not support Donald Trump and Republican fascists and the MAGA movement, or are deemed insufficiently loyal, you will face prison or worse.
Perfect.
If you are a black or brown person, a Muslim, Jewish, or atheist, not a white Christian, a member of the LGBTQI community, believe in women's reproductive rights and freedoms, are deemed to be woke or tainted by the critical race theory mind virus, or otherwise deemed to be the other, you will also be targeted by Trump's next regime and movement.
Does that say that in the 920 pages?
I don't know. And I'm pretty sure Republicans fully support the Jewish nation.
Yeah.
Like, I think they support it hardcore.
Yes.
So I feel like a lot of this is just really made up.
Absolutely.
Dictators and other authoritarians expect the category of the enemy in response to political necessity and the whims, grievances, and other mercurial needs and impulses of the leader. This dynamic is even more powerful in a political personality cult such as Trumpism. Even more so in a personality cult such as Trumpism. No American, not even Trump's MAGA supporters and other Republican voters, will be safe from being put in prison or targeted for violence by the next Trump regime.
Love it.
Do we want to get into the part where they talk about agenda or Project 2025?
I have been
You wanna
waiting
hear
for
it?
this for
I
the
have
last
too.
5 pages.
It took me a while. Like, I had to go back and forth to be like, is this even an article about Project 2025? Like, what the hell is this? Here we go. Project 2025 is a strategy that has been developed by right-wing think tanks and interest groups such as the Heritage Foundation. The main focus of Project 2025 is to launch a blitzkrieg assault on the American government to ending career civil service and replacing it with Trump loyalists, with the goal of eliminating any internal opposition to the Trump dictatorship. In essence, these Trump loyalists will place his vision above the Constitution and the rule of law. I like how they used blitzkrieg in there.
Yeah,
they had to use blitzkrieg in there.
It was very, very Nazi-ish.
So here's their explanation of it.
Okay.
A network of conservative groups is gearing up for the potential re-election of Donald Trump, actively enlisting an army of Americans to come to Washington with a mission to disassemble the federal government and substitute it with a vision that aligns more closely with their own beliefs and ideas, according to the Associated Press. First of all, isn't that every president's goal?
I believe so,
To make the government align with their ideologies?
Yes.
Otherwise, why even go? It's just like, well, I'm going to go there, but I don't care. I have all of these plans and dreams and stuff, but I don't care if you actually follow them.
Right.
That's fine.
We'll just keep you there.
Derek says, what did 3 black dudes have to do to piss off a guy enough to off them at a Dollar General? It's a very good question, Derek. Organized by the Heritage Foundation, the sweeping new initiative called Project 2025 offers a policy agenda, transition plan, a playbook for the first 180 days, and a personnel database for the next GOP president to access from the very beginning to take control, reform, and eliminate what Republicans criticize as the deep state bureaucracy. Their plan includes the possibility of firing as many as 50,000 federal employees. Right there, just from that one sentence, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Firing 50,000 federal employees, great.
That's a great start.
If that's all, like if he was just like, I'm just gonna go in and I'm just gonna fire everyone, I'd
Right.
be like, all right, you got my vote.
Right.
Just fucking fire them all.
Right. Yeah. Start over, man.
Democracy experts view Project 2025 as an democracy experts.
Yes.
The experts.
Yes.
in
The ones that
democracy.
feel like we can't handle democracy.
No,
so
the ones
they
that
have
had
to
to
come and
save
fix
us.
this. Yes,
They're-
they have to save us all
yeah,
the
the ones
time.
that wrote the playbook
Yes.
to rig the last election.
Yes.
To say in order to save democracy.
Yes.
Those democracy experts view this as authoritarian.
Yes.
Like, what qualifications do you need to become a democracy expert?
I
Like
think
what?
you have to go to Harvard.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Like,
You have to be a millionaire.
like how many years of experience do you need in democracy to be considered a democracy expert?
Yeah.
Democracy experts view Project 2025 as an authoritarian attempt to seize power by filling the federal government, including the Department of Justice and the FBI, with unwavering Trump supporters, which could potentially erode the country's system of checks and balances. The irony, of course, is that in the name of draining the swamp, it creates opportunities to make the federal government actually quite corrupt and turn the country into a more authoritarian kind of government.
Good, because it's not like it's a good thing the country's not corrupt now. Right?
Yeah, it's a good thing we don't have corrupt individuals
Yes.
that like throw around their authoritarian
Right.
powers
Yeah.
like during a COVID crisis. How much
Right.
how much authoritarianism did we see during COVID
Oh,
under the Biden administration?
Under unelected officials.
Grumpy Gnome says that sounds like one of our candidates. Yeah, it does sound like one of our like the great Josh Smith wants to go in and fire a bunch of
Yeah.
And that again, that part alone,
Yeah.
I fully stand by. Now it's
I would say waste
what he does after that. Like just start with the firing and then stop there.
Yeah.
Because I know the whole plan, at least what they're saying, is to bring in a bunch of like 20 to 50,000 MAGA people to
Right.
kind of fill those. No, we don't want to fill the
Yeah, we don't
holes. We
wanna
want to
fill
get
'em.
rid of the
Eliminate
hole.
them.
Yeah, just
Start-
get rid of it.
Yes.
Those who remain in denial about the realities of Trump's plan to become a dictator and the country's worsening democracy crisis would likely object to these warnings with foolish deflections such as Trump is just making empty threats and that he is disorganized and not disciplined, and the law will stop him because American exceptionalism and the institution, blah, 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 all this stuff. Such voices have learned little, which 7 years later is a choice from the age of Trump, the horrors it
The
unleashed.
age of Trump.
The horrors it, not the horrors, the horrors it unleashed,
Well, those two.
and the system's failures that vomited it out. By definition, fascists and other authoritarians such as Donald Trump and his fake populist MAGA movement do not care about the law or institutions. They cry, that's illegal, is one of the final things. The cry, that's illegal, is one of the final things many people in societies around the world have said when authoritarian and their forces take power. This keeps going.
Oh,
and
they
going
go
and
for a
going.
while, don't they?
Yeah. Here's the final paragraph. We'll close with this because it goes right back into the fear porn. There's like
Sure.
one paragraph of what Project 2025 is.
That they get from the AP.
Yeah, we
And-
start with like 7 or 8 paragraphs of Trump's gonna kill his
Right.
opponents
because Banana
and
Republic.
Banana Republics and the black dudes at
Yeah.
Dollar General. And then here's what Project 2025 is.
Yes.
And then if we let Trump have his way, democracy dies and fascism takes over and blah, blah, blah. So very little is actually what Project 2025 is. If Donald Trump was a private citizen and was threatening his neighbors with violence and other harm, he would likely be put in jail or otherwise removed from society. So is that saying they want to imprison Trump or kill him? Is that what is that literally what they just said there?
Kinda sounds like it, yes. I mean, maybe.
So Donald
imprison and
Trump
then
just
kill.
says Banana Republic.
Right.
And he wants to kill or imprison or kill and imprison.
Yes, because that's such a lofty word to say, Banana Republic.
Yes. His opponents.
Yes.
And they say if he were to say these kind of things in private society, which newsflash, Donald Trump is in private society.
yeah.
He's not a public official right now.
Yes.
If he was to say this as a private citizen, which he is,
he did.
he is, he would likely put in jail or otherwise removed from society. That sounds like killing him.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Little
More
bit.
so than Banana Republic sounds
Yes,
like
yeah.
killing him. But Donald Trump is not a regular person. He's a former president who commands the loyalty of tens of millions of people. When a person tells you who they are, believe them. That wisdom and warning most certainly applies to Trump and his MAGA-ites, MAGA-ites, and the other neo-fascists and members of the white right. Denial will not save you, no matter how much you wish it could.
And it's not a river in Egypt.
Now, those are words to live by. Denial will not save you, no matter how much you wish it could.
Yes.
What do you think?
Sounds horrible.
Grumpy Gnome says dictators are easier to overthrow.
That's true.
It's true. What do you what do you think of Project 2025 based on this right here?
Based on that, yeah, it doesn't really bother me all that much. I mean, he's gonna throw people in jail. I mean,
I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, right. He's gonna fire 50,000 people. Okay.
The problem is because they're like, oh, he's threatening to throw all his political opponents in jail. Yeah. The problem is they all fucking deserve to go to jail on both sides.
Absolutely.
On both freaking sides. I
Clean
bet
house.
you I could comb through the most shallow of documentation on these people and find probably 60 reasons why each and every one of them needs to go to freaking prison.
Right.
So it doesn't bother me when Donald Trump says, I'm going to throw him in prison. Good. He probably deserves it. And then you can probably head there and follow him too. You all can go to prison. I don't care.
Right.
Now, there is some concern with this Project 2025 in my point of view.
Yeah.
Because I know where this goes. It's not just about shrinking the government. And that's what like if you get into like that heritage group or whatever it is, that's like, oh yeah, we want to shrink it's blown up supersized government. We want to shrink it. That's what we want. No, that's not about that.
Right.
It's about like draining the swamp to make room for more swamp.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you're draining the swamp, but you're refilling it
with more swamp.
With your own water.
Yes, your own shit water.
Yeah. Right. And yes.
So do
because like I said, I have no problem with going in and start making cuts right and left. Like I said, we just burn it down, start up from scratch.
Or just burn it down and don't start up at all. Just leave it down.
Well,
just leave it on the ground.
Yeah. I mean, there's how many alphabet organizations are there out there that just need to go away?
So do you have a great understanding of Project 2025 based on that?
Oh, on that? Oh, no.
So should we actually talk about what it is?
Yeah, I think we probably should.
Let's at least read Wikipedia because
anybody who jumped in is like, what the fuck?
Right. Well, it's like Project 2025. Trump wants to kill Joe Biden.
Based on a banana republic.
Banana republic. Yeah, I didn't get much out of it. So I went to the Wikipedias. Project 2025 is a plan to reshape the executive branch of the U.S. federal government in the event of a Republican victory in 2024 U.S.
Any Republican.
Election. Yes.
Not just Trump, any Republican.
Any Republican. If any Republican wins, they plan to reshape the executive branch.
And this isn't like something that every Republican candidate signed saying, yes, I'm going to do this. This is something a think tank put together.
This isn't even necessarily something Donald Trump signed up.
It's not a policy.
Like I've never even heard. No. I didn't come across any mention where Donald Trump's like Project 2025. Them are my boys.
Yeah.
No, it's just people
the only
that
reason
backed him.
They tie it to Trump is because the co-director used to be like a former assistant chief of staff to Trump.
Okay.
That's how they tie it to Trump.
It says established in 2022, the project seeks to recruit thousands of conservatives to D.C. to replace existing federal service workers it characterizes as the deep state to further the agenda and policies of Donald Trump. The plan would perform a swift takeover of the entire executive branch under a maximalist version of the unitary executive theory. Have you ever heard that phrase?
No, but I looked it up.
Executive theory. I have heard that phrase because it's not a new concept.
No.
The unitary executive theory is basically a theory that states under the Article 2 of the Constitution,
Mhm.
there's the what's the name of the clause? I had it written down. I lost it. It's a clause
Yes, not the Santa
under
type.
the articles, under Article 2 of the Constitution that basically says the executive branch is under the direction of the president.
Right.
Pretty
yes.
much what it says.
Yeah, like all of it.
It's like cut and dry. It's just
Yeah.
like executive branch under direction of the president.
Yeah.
And so, like all things in the Constitution, you get one side that's like, that's literal.
Yeah.
And then you get the other side that's like, well, if you really think back onto what they were going through at that time,
Right,
and with muskets and
Right.
with like slaves and stuff,
Right.
can we really take it literal? And
Yeah.
then so you get one side that's like, did they really mean the president was in control of the executive branch?
Right.
Is that really what they were saying? Even though it says,
Yeah.
under the direction of the president. I mean,
Yeah. And based on, because when I was coming over here, I was listening to the Heritage Foundation's proposal of this thing, and their criticism is that in the last like 100 years, it's almost like a fourth branch has risen up, which is the like an administrative branch.
the deep state.
Yeah, the
that
deep state,
the deep
basically.
state?
Yes, and that they have much more political control than what they should.
And that's what I feel like, at least the founders of Project 2025 are saying too. It's just like, we got all these agencies,
Mhm.
blah, blah, blah. The president really doesn't have that much power.
Right.
And then you look at statements that Trump made that's like, I'm the president, I do what I want. And then they put those two things together and like, well, he just wants control of everything.
Yeah.
When in reality, Project 2025 isn't saying the president wants control of the government. It's saying this unitary executive theory to the max.
Right.
Like all the agencies in the executive branch, which there are thousands of them.
Right.
All the agencies are under the direction of the president. I haven't read enough to know where I stand on this. It sounds in theory like it makes sense.
Right.
If we're in the kind of government that I would lean closer to, which is very small government roles.
Yes.
But when we have all these fucking agencies, like the big ones they're concerned with that they pointed out is Department of Justice.
Right.
Well, I could see why Donald Trump would want power over the Department of Justice because they're always coming after him. That would mean he wouldn't get have charges brought on him if he's the president. The FCC.
Yeah.
The FCC is bullshit anyway, because you have a federal agency that's in control of all the broadcasting communication across the world, the country.
Yeah.
You got a federal agency that's like, you can't say that, or we'll allow that.
Mhm.
And to have the president be like, I want to have control of that too, especially somebody like Donald Trump. I could see why that is a scary thing.
Yeah.
For Donald Trump to be like, I get to control what you get to say, and you don't. You guys can't even stay open because I control the FCC. I could see how that would be detrimental to democracy.
Absolutely.
But I want to get into why that's not Trump's fault or Project 2025's fault. It's the oversized government's fault in the first place. And I'll get more into that shit later. But let's continue here. It says the plan would perform a swift takeover of the entire executive branch under maximalist version of the unitary executive theory. You know who is also a big, like one of the more recent proponents of the unitary executive theory? Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney thrived on the unitary executive theory.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the Dick Cheney movie with Christian Bale? Dude, fucking watch it.
Good.
This is why I've heard it is because of that movie.
Gotcha.
He was just like, I'm part of the executive. I'm like second head of the executive branch. You can't tell me what to fucking do. We're going to war. Let's fight everybody, bitches. That was Dick Cheney in a nutshell. It says a theory proposing the president has absolute power of the executive branch upon inauguration. The development of the plan is led by the Heritage Foundation, a conservative U.S. think tank in collaboration with some 80 partners, including Turning Point USA, the Conservative Partnership Institution, and the Center for Renewing America. It envisions widespread changes across the entire government, particularly with regard to economic and social policy and the roles of the federal government and federal agencies. The Washington Post reported Project 2025 includes immediately invoking the Insurrection Act to deploy military for domestic law enforcement and directing the U.S. Department of Justice to pursue Donald Trump's adversaries. Now, that's fucking scary there.
Yeah, and I don't like that part.
No. Now, yeah, as soon as they're like, you know what, we're gonna take over the executive branch, we're gonna drop the Insurrection Act, we're gonna deploy the military, we're gonna take out all the bad guys.
Yeah.
You lost me there.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
That's where we're leaning. That's where we're leaning borderline dictatorship there.
Right.
Not the, well, Donald Trump just wants to put people in jail, or he just wants to take over the entire government. No, when you start saying deploying the military for domestic law enforcement.
Yeah, right.
No.
That's called martial law, brother.
Yeah, and we had a whole episode on why we don't want the martial law to be invoked. Let's see. We don't need to get into the background. Sid talks about like the Heritage Foundation, who formed it. I don't fucking care. Project 2025's director is Paul Dans, who served as chief of staff at the Office of Personnel Management during the Trump administration.
Yeah, that's the sole connection to Trump.
Yep. Axios reports that while Heritage had briefed other 2024 Republican candidates on the project, it's undeniably a Trump-driven operation. Undeniably, noting the involvement of Trump's most fervent internal loyal enforcer, Johnny McKenty, as a senior advisor to the project. The Trump campaign said no outside group speaks for the former president, referring to its Agenda 47. So Trump has his own plan.
Yep.
He's like, Project 2025 does not represent Trump. Agenda 47 does, which
we'd have to do another show on.
I got a little bit of, if we get to it, I got a little bit about that one later. So
does he say Banana Republic?
I don't know. So the expansion of presidential powers, this is where it gets into what this involves.
Yeah.
Project 2025 seeks to place the entire executive branch of the federal government under direct presidential control, eliminating the independence of the Department of Justice, the FCC, the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, and other agencies. The plan bases its presidential agenda on maximalist version of the unitary executive theory, arguing that Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution vests executive power solely to the president. While Trump is not the first president to consider policies related to the unitary executive theory, the idea has seen a resurgence and popularization within the Republican Party following 9/11 terrorist attack, i.e. Dick Cheney. Trump, the frontrunner in 2024, stated in 2019 that Article 2 of the United States Constitution granted him the right to do whatever as president. Now I can see Trump saying that. He would definitely say that. A common claim made by supporters of the unitary executive theory, or just dumbasses who don't know what they're doing when they get into office. I don't think Trump was ever like, I've been studying the unitary executive theory. No, it's just like, I'm president, bitch. I can do what I want. Right. They're like, oh, he must have studied the unitary executive theory.
Yeah, right.
No, he's just a dumbass. Let's see. Let's get into some of the things that it kind of lays out. It says Project 2025 established a personnel database shaped by the ideology of Donald Trump. So they used AI to form this long database of if you fire 50,000 people, we have all these loyal supporters to bring in their place. It says throughout his presidency, stop giving me this background. Just talk about what it is. Good God. It says Project 2025 is aligned with Trump's plans to fire more government employees than is allocated to the president using Schedule F, a job classification established by Trump in an executive order in 2020. Although I didn't know the president had a specific allocation of firings. Well, you're already at 789. You only are allocated 822 firings.
Yeah.
So you need to really pick and choose who you can fire.
I've always heard the phrase that they serve at the pleasure of the president. So if he no longer requires their services, he can terminate them and bring somebody else on.
I don't know. I think we, the people, as a democracy, should just be able to fire them.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely, we should.
Just be like, yeah, you're fired. You're fired. Yeah, I don't like you. You're fired.
Yeah. What the hell's up with that tie? Get out.
Although the classification was rescinded by Joe Biden in 2021, Trump has stated that he intends to restore it. The foundation plans on having 20,000 personnel in its database by the end of 2024. Russell Vought, a former Trump administration official, stated the project's goal of removing federal workers would be a wrecking ball for the administrative state. So he wants to go in, fire a bunch of people that don't support, well, not him, but Project 2025.
Right.
They're using these people synonymously with
Right.
Trump when it's not the same.
Right. But they want to bring in people of similar political ideology.
Not similar, like exactly
Well,
the same.
exactly. Yes, but yes.
Like they're using AI and they do like a questionnaire and they ask you things like, who's your like, as a political idol or something, like who do you look up to politically? And excuse me. And like you got to give all the right and wrong answers. There's this rigorous vetting process that also involves AI.
Yeah.
They comb through your social media posts to make sure you're not posting anti-Trump stuff.
So we're probably out.
we're far beyond that. So we say we don't like war and shit.
Right. But anyways, they want to bring in people of the exact same ideology, similar, whatever. And that way they have a single vision, right?
Right.
My problem with that is someone else gets elected the next time, they fire everybody, they bring on people of their political ideology.
I mean, that's just what it always has been.
Well, but
not to that level, though.
Well, yeah, because usually it's like, okay, that guy, he's in the motor pool. That guy is like a secretary in treasury. I don't care what his political affiliation is. He's got the credentials. I don't have to worry about him.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't stir the pot, I don't need to worry about him. But now it's talking like, no, I'm president. You don't fit my bill. You're out. I'm bringing somebody else in. Right. I mean, that just sounds like a pain in the ass.
Not only that, but it's all about like 50,000 yes men is all it turns into.
Exactly.
There's zero accountability at this point within the executive.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what the checks and balances supposedly should be for, even if he brings in 50,000, which I don't even know why we're having this discussion, because those 50,000 people shouldn't be there in the first place.
Like you said, just get rid of it and period. Stop.
Well,
move on.
Do you know how many? Let's look through just some of the executive agencies, because we already know there's like the IRS, the FCC, the FTC, all those
the
bullshit
FDA.
ones. We have the Administration Conference of the United States,
Sounds dumb.
the African Development Foundation, the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve, the Chemical Safety Board. I mean, obviously need
You gotta have that, right?
Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the Defense Nuclear Facility Safety Board, the Denali Commission. Don't know what that is.
I'm guessing it's the country of Denali.
The Department of
Alaska.
Labor, which is we got to have
Denali's
that.
Alaska.
This is all the departments, like the cabinets, like Department of the Interior and shit like that. We can't forget the Department of Transportation. We got to have the DOT because they're so like great at what they do.
Yeah, they're awesome.
The Farm Credit Administration, Inter-American Foundation, the Merit System Protection Board,
which we know is bullshit,
the Millennium Challenge Corporation.
That sounds horrible.
The National Indian Gaming Commission, the Office of the Comptroller of Currency, the Peace Corps, the Railroad Retirement Board, the Selective Service System. God, we got to keep that. Don't forget the Selective Service System.
We got to be able to draft people.
Yeah, we got to be able to send people's kids off to die. The Tennessee Valley Authority.
Oh, man, that's been around forever.
The United States Access Board. The United States Department of Agriculture. The United States Interagency Council on Homelessness. How's that working out?
Yeah, right. That's a success.
So these are
they all sound pretty useless.
Overblown, useless agencies we're talking about.
Save Americans billions of dollars, cut them all, send everybody home.
Yeah. Then we don't have this 2025. We don't have the 20,000 extra people that they have. So they have this like database of 20,000 people that they're like, when he takes office, you're gonna have a job.
Right. We got.
We're compiling this. I think right now they're up to like 4,000, but they want to have 20,000 by the end of this year or the end of 2024. So dangerous.
Yeah. Well, just dumb.
Yeah, pretty much. So here's some of the things they focus on that Wikipedia focuses on.
Okay.
LGBTQ plus rights and pornography. Grumpy Gnome says he wants to download all the porn before they take it away. I guess this is a big danger fascism at its finest. They're talking about taking away our porn.
Hey.
The Heritage Foundation President Kevin Roberts, in a section of Project 2025's manifesto, claims that under the Biden administration, children suffer the toxic normalization of transgenderism, with drag queens and pornography invading school libraries. Pornography manifested today in the omnipresent propagation of transgender ideology and sexualization of children is not a political Gordian knot inextricably binding up disparate claims about free speech, property rights, sexual liberation, and child welfare. It has no claim to First Amendment protection. Roberts goes on to claim that those who produce and distribute pornography and LGBTQ plus content are child predators and misogynistic exploiters of women and should face jail time. This includes educators and librarians being registered as sex offenders and the closing down of telecommunication and technology firms that facilitate its spread. When discussing the United States Department of Health and Human Service, Roger Severno, the Heritage Foundation's VP on domestic policy, calls for rescinding of regulations prohibiting discrimination on basis of sexual orientation, gender identity, transgender status, sex characteristics, etc. So ultra-conservative policies, it sounds like.
Ultra, yeah.
It's like super ultra, like ending I don't know.
Well, yeah, and I don't like that.
No. I don't know that we should also be locking up and registering librarians as sex offenders for some of this stuff. Depending on if it's like child porn, then absolutely it should be.
Right.
If we're like exposing kids to something they shouldn't be exposed of, then absolutely they should be. But
and if they're pushing it, right?
Derek says, wait, I can get straight male and women vanilla porn in school libraries.
I've never tried.
I haven't either. I haven't been to a school library in a while. It talks about census citizenship questions. Talks about kind of wanting to change it so you have to be a natural citizen, or not natural, but a citizen, U.S. citizen, to be included in the census or not. I don't know. I don't need to get into that shit, but those are the main things it focuses on. Even though there's 950 some pages or whatever, those are the two things.
Well, those are the parts that Wikipedia decided to focus on.
Exactly. Thoughts on this project 2025?
Yeah, like I said, it just sounds dumb.
Does it sound as bad as that?
No,
one article.
It doesn't
made it out to be. Does it sound like they just want to kill Donald Trump's opponents?
No.
I don't know, but Wikipedia might have censored that part out. I don't know.
Do you think Wikipedia would do that?
No, absolutely
If
not.
anything, Wikipedia would like hone in on that.
Right.
No, I just, it doesn't sound like any jackboot, thugs coming in and trying to take over in the name of Trump.
It sounds like a think tank, an ultra conservative think tank that's like, there's not a lot of conservatives in the government anymore. If we expanded on this whole Dick Cheney law, this executive,
horrible.
What was it? The executive something theory,
Unitarian
executive theory.
Yeah.
Then the president should have the ability to fire a bunch of people, and we can just bring in a bunch of people that support us, and then pack the executive branch in our favor.
Yeah.
That is considered fascism there. But packing the judicial branch in favor of liberals is not fascism.
Right.
That's not.
Yeah.
This is, though.
Well, and the reason why I think a lot of the liberals are up in arms is because, right now it is packed with liberals.
Right. Well, yeah. Do you think any of these articles that are screaming about this, if, let's say, a hard left person, let's say Michelle Obama decided to run, and they're like, it would make it easier for her if she just brought in a bunch of liberals into the executive branch. Do you think they'd scream like the end of democracy about that? The right wing would.
They would. Yeah, the right wing would.
But the left wing would be like, that's a great idea. That's a fucking good idea.
Yeah.
Like, there's no more real opposition at the executive level than if you just brought in all liberals and just spilled all your inner working.
Yeah.
No, it'd
Well,
be genius.
And like you said, why? As an American citizen, I do not want a bunch of yes men sitting up and watch. We have enough of that.
right.
We have enough people being like, well, I know you don't agree with this, but you can make about 10 million.
You know,
Oh, well, then let's do it.
one of the funniest statements I read about this whole thing is like they're more concerned about filling those positions for ideological reasons versus qualifications.
Yeah. Right. Yes. And that's truth. From what I heard about it, that is truth.
It is true. But that's so ironic because didn't every appointment Joe Biden made was for ideological reasons rather than qualifications?
Yes.
Or for checking the box. Oh, we got our black woman.
Yep.
Now we got our
trans person. Yeah.
Yeah. It was all like what qualifications? What qualifications does Kamala Harris really have?
Right. Yes.
Zero.
Other than on her knees.
Exactly. Derek says Project 2025 isn't going to matter anyway. World War III is going to kick off in August of 2024. It's not going to be that long, Derek. You're wrong. But your name's you're in the poll, but you're wrong.
We got you set down for August 24.
And you're wrong. So, fascism at its finest?
No. I don't think so. Political pandering? Yes.
Obviously. Yeah. Let's see, where was I? What?
It's so irritating. These people call themselves conservatives,
right?
But they're still willing to go with the size of government being massive, right? I mean, aren't conservatives supposed to want a smaller government?
Well, they're kind of playing it off on that conservative. They're like, the government's way too big. We need to fire 50,000 executive members.
Yeah.
And hire 50,000
conservatives.
Conservative.
Right. Yeah.
And make it just as big. Yeah. No, it's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think we need it's about time for a break. I want to talk a little more about this. I do want to bring up the Agenda 47 because they brought it up too.
Yeah.
And they're not the same thing.
And the Agenda 47 is Trump's actual plan.
It's on his website.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So Agenda 47 is Trump's. This Project 2025 is like
conservative think
tank.
No Republican candidate has signed on to it. None of them have said, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that. It's just out there and they're like, hey, you guys should use this.
Right. And I want to talk about why I think this is problematic.
Yeah.
Not why they think it's leading to this fascist regime that's going to lock up and kill Joe Biden. I want to talk about why I think it's problematic. We got to get into break though, and I need something to drink. My voice is shot. I have a cold. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yes, I can tell.
It's still here.
I was gonna say it's been a week now.
Yeah, it's been at least a week now, and it's kind of pissing me off. It pisses me off more than this Agenda 2025 does. So,
would me too.
We're gonna get into break. Go get something to drink. Take a piss. Do whatever you do. And when we come back, we're gonna continue to ride this fascist train that we're heading down here.
Riding the fascist train.
We'll be right back.
Take a moment and remember the feeling. When they called you not essential. When they dictated what you could do, where you could go, how you could breathe. It's disgusting, isn't it? And they're trying to do it again. We've seen what happens when the people lose control. When politicians and unelected bureaucrats make the big decisions on our behalf, whether we like them or not. When the choices are taken away from us one by one. We've seen what happens when they strip away medical freedom. When they trample on informed consent. When they dismiss our cries of justice. They laughed at us. They called us names.
Rest in peace, Wheezy.
Their freedom. I want my freedom to live.
And they shamed us for not going along with their every demand. Enough already. It's time to hold these tyrants accountable. In the midst of them trying to do it again, this wasn't a public health measure. This was an act of war against a peaceful people. But a reckoning is coming. And we're leading the charge. This campaign is for all of us. I'm asking you to join this movement that's for every single person who felt the crushing weight of mandates, the sting of being called unessential, the pain of having your liberties stripped away. I'm Joshua Smith, and I'm running because you are essential, and because our freedoms are non-negotiable. Not last time, not this time, not ever again.
I recommend take the vaccines. I did it. It's good.
We faced the challenges. We felt the pain, but we're not defeated. Together, we have the power to create a brighter future, one where liberty thrives and tyranny dies. I endorse prosecuting the COVID tyrants and using Guantanamo Bay to lock them away for their crimes against humanity. In the face of all of this happening again, where they think we're stupid enough to fall for it, in 2024, a vote for me is a vote for vengeance. Go to joshuasmith2024.com to find out how you can help.
We're back. Talking about a scary agenda.
2025.
I don't know. Are you scared?
No, not really.
When I first read, initially what it was involving, I was like, that's scary.
Yeah, and I think I even sent you, I'm like, wow, that sounds almost as bad as the Great Reset.
I don't think so. Again, they're not seeing big picture for their agendas here. They should be going like global domination.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a little pussified. I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed Republicans.
Now I feel like the Democrats are only afraid of this, not because of fascism, but because it sidetracks their plans for global domination.
Yes.
Again, like
Right.
the first Trump
Yeah.
one kind of seemed to have.
Well, and plus any chance they have to vilify Trump, they're going to take because they are that afraid of him to be in office.
Right. So this is actually from their website, project2025.org. They talk about their 180-day playbook, which is their plans for the first 180 days.
And every president comes up with a 100-day or something like that playbook.
The time is short, and conservatives need a plan. The project will create a playbook of actions to be taken in the first 180 days of the new administration to bring quick relief to Americans suffering from the left's devastating policies. The fourth pillar of Project 2025 is our 180-day transition playbook and includes comprehensive, concrete transition plan for each federal agency. Only through the implementation of specific action plans at each agency will the next conservative presidential administration be successful. Pillar 4 will provide the next president a roadmap for doing just that. To learn more about Project 2025's vision for a conservative administration, please read our recently published book, Mandate for Leadership, The Conservative Promise. That's the 490-some page book.
Gotcha.
That's all it says. It doesn't say anything about... There's so little to go off of
Yeah,
here.
right.
There is
I was
the
expecting
massive conjecture from the left
Oh,
that's
yeah.
like, oh, it's just this big old plan to implement fascism and democracy and kill political opponents.
Yeah.
And then you have the actual group that it's from, and it's just like, we got a plan. It's a good plan. It's a bigly plan. Read this book to
read
find
that
out our plan.
920-page.
It's like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, right.
I
It's
just
like,
don't
can
want to
you give
do
us
that.
the Cliff Notes.
Right.
Nice little outline.
So I'm not saying that gutting the system isn't a good thing.
No.
Like gutting the
what needs to
executive
happen.
branch is my dream.
Yeah, literally.
Gutting the agencies is my dream.
Yes.
And throwing conservatives in those positions versus Democrats, I just don't think it's going to really change that much.
No.
Because nothing fucking gets done anyway.
Right.
And, they freaking brought this on themselves.
Yeah.
Because the first Trump administration, they're like, we're not going to let you get a damn thing done. So the second time, they're like, what if we made it a little easier so maybe you could get a little more done?
Right.
Like, I don't know, get rid of who was your biggest problem? The DOJ? You hated that. What if you had control of the DOJ?
Yeah.
That's a little scary.
Right.
What if you had control over the FCC? Then everybody has to talk nice about you.
Yeah. No more fake news.
No fake news. What if I don't know. It's just like if you gave the guy a chance the first time, you wouldn't have this big fit throw, like he's throwing a tissy, or like his supporters at least are throwing.
But
a
it's
tissy.
like what he did when he was like, "We're not going to allow these certain reporters in the White House to interview me, right? Because it's fake news. I'm not even going to acknowledge them."
Yeah. There's not a lot to go off of.
Yeah.
It's all conjecture. But again, I don't feel that it's about, I don't think the outcry over it is about the fascist aspect of it. Like, they're going to say, oh, it's fascism. It's implementing fascism and ending democracy. That's not what they're upset about. They're upset that conservatives are making a plan to make a comeback. And I feel like they're actually scared about this. They're like, they might actually do this thing because that would be bad for us. And then we won't be in control. It's not about the fact that, this one guy wants to just be in total control. They don't want somebody else to be in total. They want to be in total control.
Well, that, and I feel like what they're doing, what the conservatives are doing are the exact same thing that the left has done.
Oh, yeah.
Because, Biden is not following his own playbook, right? I mean, we've discussed this. Biden is following probably a generic leftist globalist playbook that was given to him by Obama or whoever, and said, look, this is what you're going to do the next term.
Build Back Better. Remember we talked about how it was a cookie cutter thing throughout all these different countries.
It was all of them were Build Back Better, Build Back Better.
Yeah, it wasn't like he played it off like it was his own slogan, like to kind of piggyback or like to step away from the Make America Great. Well, we have Build Back Better. We're not just making it great, we're making it better. But then we come to find out this Build Back Better was an agenda that was like a green driven
Canada,
WF driven agenda. And it wasn't an original thought. It was some think tank that was driving this. And that's what I feel like this is. This is not Donald Trump.
No.
This is some think tank that wants to capitalize off of a Trump presidency. They want to capitalize off of, like we said, any Republican presidency, but they know they have the best chance of succeeding off of Trump presidency. It's similar to back in the Bush era. Like, all Bush's war policies were not Bush-driven policies by any stretch. It was all these warmongering, like oil conglomerates. There were like the war industrial complex type, like the Lockheed Martins that like the people Dick Cheney came from, or like all his cabinet was like these.
And I'll never forget listening to, and I may have mentioned this before, but a Glenn Beck show where he was interviewing George W. Bush, and George W. Bush came out and said, look, it's not like I get to do whatever I want. Right. I have something I have to do that is being told to me. Like, basically he has to follow a script as well.
Yeah. And it was all the warmongers and all the big fat corporations that were making
corporatocracy.
Making billions off of these wars. Yeah. George Bush was like, we're going to go to war. Who are we going to war? We're like Iraqistan. Going to war with Iraqistan.
Do I get to say they hate our freedom?
They hate us because they hate our freedom. No, I mean, he was being driven by this, for lack of better terms, think tank of the war politics. And I feel like the people behind this 2025 or whatever, they're wanting to handle Trump the way like the Lockheed Martin types and the Dick Cheney types handled George Bush and whoever's controlling Joe Biden right now. They just want to be the ones pulling the strings here. They want their agenda driven.
Agreed. Yes.
And so they're going to implement things that first of all, Trump is the type of personality that'd be like, you goddamn right, I'm going to do this. That's a great idea. Fire them all.
Yeah.
Throw them all in jail.
Yeah.
Hire all my own people that are yes men. When in reality, they're really pushing the agendas of these other people. And I want to know who these other people, like what's behind them. Like what corporations are they out of? What lobbyist groups are like, what are they getting out of this? It's not about, oh, we just need we need less gays in the world and we need less pornography in the world. No, there's something more here. And these people want to be the drivers of the new and upcoming Trump administration. And they know Trump is going to be their guy because he's just that personality.
Yeah.
So again, I don't care if we want to gut the executive branch, but can we just keep it gutted?
Right. Exactly.
I'm not like, I don't think it's a Trump problem.
No,
and I started talking about it. It's a too much government problem. It's a too big of government problem. I'm probably going to cut this shorter than I expected because my voice is going to go out really damn quick. But I started talking about the FCC earlier and I said I'd get back to it. The FCC as an example. The FCC is an agency, a federal agency of the executive branch that says what can and cannot be broadcasted.
Yeah.
Of the executive branch. It's under the control of the executive branch. The problem is we get all these fucking agencies and we smush them in this. It's like, oh, this is just part of government. Oh, it's the executive branch. Yeah. And then you get somebody like Donald Trump that's like, I should be in control of the executive branch. And he's put in this role, or at least like coaxed into this role where he's like, you're mine now, you're mine now, you're mine now. Now I have control over all the broadcasting in the world. Did Donald Trump set himself up for that? Or was it the fact that we have too much government that is at risk of somebody coming along and freaking taking advantage of that and just bastardizing that? Kind of like we talked about the Weimar Republic and how the reason why Adolf Hitler gained control of all the communications across Germany wasn't Adolf Hitler's fault. It was the people in the government before him that were trying to squash all the opposition and say, well, if we just put all this broadcasting under government control, then the Hitlers and Nazi party, they have no, but then they voted in Hitler anyway. And he's like, hey, bitches, you gave this all to me. It's mine now. Thank you. So if we didn't have this big fucking massive executive branch in the first place, we wouldn't have the opportunity for people like Trump to come in and be like, this is mine now because of the whatever executive theory, the unitary executive theory. The Constitution says that I control everything, so this is mine now. Communications are mine. The FBI is mine. The DOJ is mine. The IRS is mine. Send me your tax money. I could use all your tax money. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. If we didn't set up this fucking massive government, we wouldn't put ourselves in a position where one person controls a fucking massive government.
And when was has there ever been a time in the history of the United States in the last 100 years that we actually cut some of the government back? No, we always are stepping forward. We're big jump in
always
government.
Like, we're going to hack this off and hack this off and hack this off, and we're going to replace it with all this stupid bullshit in place of it.
Yeah.
And make it even worse. It's like, oh, we're going to cut the budget, and then we're going to spend billions and trillions more. We'll have all this money to spend more.
But a perfect example of that is Fauci, right?
Right.
Not elected official, head of a government agency that is under the executive branch and making decisions that affects the entire fucking world, right?
Exactly. And see, I probably lean more closer to the unitary executive theory than not.
Yes.
But under the fact that we shouldn't have all these fucking like we shouldn't have one organization, a federal organization that says you can't say that, you can't say that, you can't say that. That's just asking to be exploited.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, we just got this one government agency that tells all these broadcasting things what they can broadcast and can't broadcast. What could possibly go wrong? And that in order to make things fair and even and equal, we have one agency, and then somebody comes in and it's like, yeah, that's mine. And you can't, and I tell you to tell them that they can't say that.
Yeah.
But that you set that up.
Right. Well, and in addition to that, like the FDA, how many people from Pfizer or Moderna or whatever are sitting on the board of the FDA? Right. I mean, it's not an independent organization.
No. But the thing is, like I was saying, if the government was smaller, like originally,
yes,
if we didn't have thousands, if we didn't have 50,000 government employees in the first place, we didn't have all these thousands of agencies. Yes, I could see where you'd be like, well, obviously the president's in charge of the executive branch because he's the executive.
As he should be.
He's the executive's executive.
Yeah.
As he should be. But we shouldn't have all this stuff for him to be in control of. Right. So for you to be like, well, isn't that just giving him too much power? No, the government already had too much freaking power in the first place.
Yeah.
Get rid of it all. And then then this dictator doesn't have all this like control over all these things because we just gut the whole system.
He does exactly what he's supposed to do that was originally set upon in the Constitution.
Sure. I do want to get... Derek says Trump takes office in his best Senator Palpatine voice, Executive Agenda 47.
I would live for that.
Whatever. I do want to end with Agenda 47.
Do you think that it's fair to quote the Unitarian executive when the executive branch has grown to enormous proportions like this?
I feel like if we want to go straight by the Constitution, then let's go straight by the Constitution across the board and say, oh, the states have the power pretty much. And basically everything that's not on this very specific document, like we want to be very specific when it matters to us. It's like, well, Article 2 says that I have control of the executive branch. Oh, but down here it says everything that's not written on this piece of paper is under the control of the state governments. It's like, fuck that. They don't know what they're talking about. But Article 2 says that I'm in control of the executive branch.
Right.
It's like, if you want to be a strict constitutionalist,
then be a strict constitutionalist.
Yeah. And give all that power back to the states and get rid of all these stupid, because the Constitution doesn't say anything about all these agencies that you want control of. It's like, well, Article 2 says I have control of the executive branch, which is all these agencies. It's like, but the Constitution doesn't lay out any of these agencies. So that must make those unconstitutional because they were not in the Constitution. So get rid of them all.
Absolutely.
That is my very uneducated. I'm an expert in democracy and an expert in.
And what are your qualifications on that?
I read an article once. Let's end with Agenda 47 because we gotta talk about because again, Project 2025 isn't Donald Trump.
No,
he's not saying it. He's not quoting it.
And none of the candidates are.
No, it's a group that said, if Trump takes office, we got your back, bro.
Yeah.
Because they want something. That's what that is.
Right.
Now, Agenda 47, that is Donald Trump. And let's hear how ominous this one is.
Does he say Banana Republic?
Probably.
No.
So this is what Barron's.com says about it. So I don't know how real or not real it is.
Can't be any worse than Salon.
Says Agenda. Well, I have Salon's response to Agenda 47 too. Just so you know.
Okay.
Agenda 47, what Trump has promised if he wins in 2024. From unleashing a fleet of flying cars to executing drug dealers, Donald Trump has not been coy about his unorthodox vision for America. I've never heard. I guess he probably
flying
did talk.
Cars. I'm in.
I am too.
Oh, read it in your Trump voice.
We will have flying cars because I said so. The former president and front-running Republican candidate for 2024 sometimes accused of lacking a clear political philosophy, as explained in speeches and a series of Agenda 47 policy videos, how he would govern. Often thin on detail, the eye-catching pronouncements from the backbone of a platform Trump says will make America great and glorious
Great
again.
and glorious?
The
Holy fuck.
Magaga. Critics say it spells out why he should never be allowed to return to the Oval Office. One of Trump's most striking proposals is a competition to design up to 10 state-of-the-art freedom cities,
Oh, God.
roughly the size of Washington, on federal land. Built around cutting-edge hives of industry. What does this sound like to you?
Sounds like smart cities.
Yeah, since when is Donald Trump on the smart city
Yeah.
train? That's what we talk about, the full circle,
Yes.
come back around.
No, they're freedom cities.
Yeah, they're not smart cities. These are freedom cities. I don't do smart, I do freedom.
That should be a t-shirt.
Built around cutting-edge hives of industry, brimming with factories, these innovation hubs would represent a quantum leap in the American standard of living. But they're not going to run on electricity. They're going to run on oil. That's the difference. It's like, they're not smart cities because we run them on coal and oil. Trump envisages commuters darting around in flying cars in an echo of the Jetsons, the space age 1960s cartoon. You don't have to explain what the Jetsons is. Yes. Trump also proposed a salute to America, honoring the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence with an entire year of festivities across the nation.
Do we get the whole year off?
From Memorial Day 2025 through July 4th of 2026. So we got on one side, the left is like, this guy wants to end democracy and implement fascism, and it's his ingenious plan to lock up. And on Donald Trump's side, he's like, I just want to celebrate the 4th of July for a whole year.
Yeah.
Right. And have flying cars.
Yeah.
I mean,
obviously they're missing out.
Right. I will work with all 50 governors, Republican and Democrats alike, to create the Great American State Fair, a unique one-year exhibition featuring pavilions from all 50 states, and it'll be something. Trump wants to launch a great beautification campaign to improve U.S. cities, making streets more pleasant for ordinary Americans. Grumpy Gnome says, sounds exactly what was happening during the fall of Rome.
Just thinking of that, Grumpy Gnome. I was just thinking that.
We should build these big stadiums and have lions fighting people.
Yes, but not Christians.
But not the Christians.
Everybody else.
Just the brown people. The Republican, whose Las Vegas hotel was named one of the world's ugliest skyscrapers by architectural design, says he wants to replace grotesque buildings with magnificent classical architecture. Streets would be renamed in honor of great American patriots, while the homeless on threat of arrest would be sent to tent cities on large parcels of inexpensive land.
Aren't they doing that anyways? Can we just send them to San Francisco?
It's like, we need to make the streets beautiful again and get rid of the ugly homeless people. Just send them out in the desert. The former president has vowed to designate Mexican cartels as foreign terrorist organizations and impose the death penalty on drug dealers and people traffickers. The former president pardoned multiple dealers during his time in the White House and struggled to grasp the apparent contradiction during a Fox News interview in mid-June. He boasted of pardoning a convict who had been in prison for 21 years for involvement in a cocaine ring, and became flustered when the network pointed out she would have been executed under his new policy. Trump promised to issue pardons to a large portion of rioters jailed after the deadly 2021 assault on the U.S. Capitol. Deadly. Let's see. Trump said he would require police to enforce stop and frisk, the practice of detaining and searching civilians for weapons and drugs. Declared unconstitutional by federal courts in 2013, the tactic is widely criticized for discriminating against racial minorities. Trump said he would also deploy the National Guard to restore law and order in liberal cities and would investigate radical Marxist prosecutors refusing to punish disorder.
What is it with people and deploying the National Guard?
Seriously, why aren't they focusing on this more than on 2025.
I was going to say, this sounds worse.
It sounds so much worse. And so, like...
It sounds like something a kindergartner would come up with.
Yes.
We'll have flying cars.
Trump has weighed in on most of the so-called culture war issues that polarize Americans, from abortion, transgender rights, and gun control to teaching America's racist history. The candidate says he would crack down on doctors providing gender-affirming care to minors and pink-haired communists pushing critical race theory or inappropriate political material in schools. He would also create a new tax credit, he said, to reimburse teachers for concealed carry firearms and training, as the country copes with torrents of mass shootings. After years of unfulfilled promises, there has been no more talk of the most gorgeous wall you've ever seen, stretching 1,000 miles across the southern frontier, paid for by Mexico. A second term, Trump would fully secure the border, he says, ending mass unskilled immigration. Let's see. Trump also announced in May he would issue an executive order ending a longstanding policy of granting citizenship to U.S.-born children with undocumented parents. I don't know. What do you think of that one? That sounds like a train wreck.
Yes, seriously. That sounds horrible. Freedom cities.
Yeah, freedom cities. And
stop and frisk.
It's insane.
Yes. A year-long festival.
Yeah. I mean, that just sounds like, remember when he was going to do like the military parade and stuff? Like, it doesn't surprise me. It's like, let's just have a big party for 1 year and celebrate America being great again.
Yeah, and glorious.
How does that work? Like, how does a year long, like, do we all get the year off work?
Right. That's what I'm shooting for.
Because if we're celebrating it for a year, we better all get it off.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the freaking point?
Right. Yeah.
Are we going to have fireworks year round? Because if I can't shoot off fireworks year round, then what's the fucking point?
Or shoot guns up in the air.
Yeah, we got to be able to shoot guns up in the air. So this is Salon's take on that one. It says, be very afraid. Trump's Agenda 47 is no joke. This is the last thing I have. And I'm probably not going to read the whole article because it's probably as bad as you think.
It is.
Donald Trump is now describing himself as some type of new avatar for the spirit of 76, founding father for the 21st century, a defender of liberty and freedom against tyranny. To that point, in fundraising emails and in other communication, Trump is proclaiming that he is waging a great battle against the so-called deep state and Joe Biden, Democrats, and their corrupt administration. Should I read the whole Trump declaration that they have posted, or just read what they have to say?
You got to read it in Trump's voice.
All right. Yesterday, we celebrated the 247th anniversary of our independence as a free nation. We paid tribute to the great patriots who sacrificed everything so that we could have a chance to be free. But sadly, our great nation is on the brink of falling victim to dark forces of tyranny that our founding fathers fought so vigilantly against. I can't do this, man.
All right.
Our founding fathers won their David versus Goliath battle for liberty and gave us the greatest nation on God's green earth. Now our nation is engulfed in the final battle for America. If we win 2024 election, we will reclaim our independence, our liberty, and our justice. But if we lose, our republic will be gone for good. Together, we will save our country and we will make America great again. I mean, that doesn't sound any different than what he's always said. Yeah. He does get into, he says, just like Americans before you had the chance to vote for Washington and Lincoln, you now stand at a very unique point in our nation's history to cast a monumental vote to save our republic and stop our nation's descent into tyranny.
By voting for him.
By voting for Trump, yes. Trump literally wraps himself in the American flag. For all intents and purposes, he is also carrying a big white Christian cross in his role as MAGA's Jesus martyr. Although he has not yet set the cross on fire, his MAGA cultists have repeatedly demonstrated that they are most certainly believe he is their savior and a great, if not the greatest American president and patriot. There are, in fact, connections between Trump and America's war for independence from the British. Contrary to Trump's fantasies, he is more like the tyrant and demagogue King George III than America's founding fathers and heroes.
Is he though?
To wit, Donald Trump is threatening to implement what he describes as Agenda 47 when he takes back the White House. Agenda 47 would consist of an end to birthright citizenship, further criminalizing transgender people and LGBTQI community more broadly, expanding the thought crime and other censorship laws to end the teaching of critical race theory. Okay, so now the left is using thought crime as problematic.
Yeah. Whereas that's what they just with hate crime is thought crime.
Yeah, no, like if you think like the left is all about the thought crimes.
Yes.
Like if you're white, you're guilty of racism, obviously.
Right.
And you're basically a murderer. But now it's circles back around and Donald Trump is implementing thought crimes. Attacking academic freedom and replacing it with patriot education, implementing a national stop and frisk law, pardoning J6 terrorists, putting homeless people in camps or some other designated area under threat of arrest, building high-tech freedom cities.
Ooh.
Again, what's different between him building high-tech freedom cities,
smart cities
or the left building their high-tech smart
nothing.
cities? The problem is it says freedom cities, which makes them racist.
Exactly.
Grumpy Gnomes going to bed. Good night, Grumpy Gnome.
Grumpy Gnome.
Trump's attacks on democracy and the rule of law, executing drug dealers, starting trade wars with China, and making peace with Vladimir Putin by withdrawing support for Ukrainian people. I'm okay with that. And their freedom struggle.
Right.
In many ways, Agenda 47 is a continuation of the fascist and other authoritarian policies he put in place his first regime, but now have made more extreme and cruel. For the most part, the American mainstream media and political class have responded to Trump's Agenda 47 and its earlier iterations with a combination of laughs, mocking, schadenfreude, I don't know how to pronounce that,
It's probably not
and indifference. And of course, there were obviously jokes about the Jetson cartoons and flying cars in futuristic cities. But nothing about Agenda 47 is childish, innocent, or funny. Fascism. I'm waiting for them to like, fascism's not funny.
Dick.
Fascism in its various forms is a revolutionary project that draws inspiration from a fictive past and golden age in order to destroy the current order and replace with some type of ideal society based upon authoritarian leader and the movement. Trump's Agenda 47 fits that model almost perfectly. I can't go on. I can't go on. Beyond, I can't go on. Today's Republican Party and the larger conservative movement and white right view multiracial pluralistic democracy, the rule of law, constitutional order, and its governing institutions as legitimate and corrupt. They are to be torn down and replaced with a system of competitive authoritarianism and white Christian Herrenvolk tyranny. They like to use big words.
They always
of the minority, where the Republican fascists and larger right-wing rule for all time and by any means necessary, including violence. To that point, yeah, I don't care about this guy's point.
Yeah, right.
At its core, fascism is a movement and political project that is based on big ideas, a grand vision, and passionate emotions. To not understand these dimensions of fascism means that one is not able to defeat it. Because of that fact, we the Americans are in big trouble. Our leaders have failed us. What do you think? Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
No, I don't think he's a fascist.
Think he's a fucking moron?
I think he's an egotist and he thinks he's smarter than what he is.
What do you think about the putting the homeless people in tent cities out of town so he can beautify the cities?
Well, I mean, okay. I mean, isn't that kind of what they're doing now?
I was gonna say, what's the difference between that and keeping
having
them
the
in
tent in the middle of the city,
town,
right? I mean, except for they're not shitting on the road.
That's fair.
So
I don't know. What about?
I don't think that's. I mean, that's not a big deal to me.
What about executing drug dealers?
I think that's kind of dumb.
I think that's extremely dumb. I don't think.
Well, and again, I come from a point of view where I feel like they should legalize
drug dealing, and then it wouldn't be so violent.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's exactly it. It's just like,
you take away the power of the cartels.
Yeah. When did the alcohol market become violent?
Prohibition.
When it was illegal.
Right.
When did the most people die because of alcohol sales?
Prohibition.
When if we just make it more illegal,
Yeah, right,
and kill them,
yeah,
then the problem goes away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Instead of
right?
just
Makes
saying,
perfect sense.
you know what, people that get their drugs are gonna get their drugs. Let's just not make it such a big deal unless, like, I don't know.
Well, and
If
does that
nobody's
include-
getting hurt, who the fuck cares?
Does that include doctors? Because the biggest problem is prescribed drugs right now.
Right? Can we kill the doctors?
I think we have to.
Like, if somebody dies of a prescription pill,
yeah,
overdose, can we execute the doctors?
I think we have to.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Wood chipper the chomos for sure. I'm guessing you meant the homos, maybe.
Oh, for sure, though.
Yes. I don't know.
Yeah, I just, I
like, there's some things that I'm like, yeah, that seems about like Donald Trump. And then there's other things that I'm like, that's scary. Like, let's send federal troops into the liberal cities.
Yeah, that's dumb.
To eradicate them of
That
the
sounds
leftist
horrible.
woke people.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, now we're borderline fascist here.
Right, yeah.
Now
yeah.
we're getting towards fascism. If you're
Yeah.
saying, I'm going to send in the federal marshals to arrest all the woke people.
Right.
Now we have some issues.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to kill off the drug dealers.
Yeah.
That's a little
And
bit
the
of a
human
problem.
traffickers, which I'm actually okay with that probably. But
make human trafficking legal, then no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, but I feel like a lot of the government is guilty of the human trafficking problem that we have right now is because of the government and how things are handled and how I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I'm sure the CIA probably funds the human traffickers in the first place.
Absolutely. Or the Mossad.
How screwed up is 2024 election going to get? Because this is, I mean, we're not even in 2024
I think
yet.
we're going to see the dirtiest election we've seen in a long time.
It's got to be.
There's too much on the line.
Democracy's on the line. And I'm a democracy expert, and I know that democracy is on the line right now.
Is it going to be Project 47 or is it going to be Project 2030?
Or Project 2025? Or
right.
I don't know. Are we going to have the left making their smart cities and cramming us all in the smart cities? Or are we going to have the right
with
freedom
cities and flying cars?
Flying cars, but cramming us all. Gas-powered flying cars,
yes.
though.
Oh,
not
course.
Electric flying
Nuclear
cars.
powered.
Gas and oil and coal powered, because we don't like the environment, because
we got to fly through our smog.
Yes, exactly. I had my constitutional right to fly through my smog.
Yeah. I just, the thing with Trump is he doesn't think things through. And I think, like, he thinks he's doing the right thing, but he doesn't think like the long-term repercussions.
I feel like Trump's kind of like Kanye West.
Yes.
He
yes,
gets
absolutely.
Somebody in his ear that's like, it'd be a great idea if you just locked up all the people that oppose you. He's like, said we're gonna do it. I'm president. I can do what I want. It'd be a great idea. We should. I mean, you are the executive. Like, you can make an executive order to roll troops through and just take out all the leftists. You're damn right we're going to.
Yeah.
We should have this big fucking party all year round so that people don't notice what else is going on behind the scenes. It's like, we're gonna have a fucking party.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's like Kanye West, when all the same people are the same talking heads, I'm sure, got Kanye West here. He's like, you know what, you should say this. And he's like, you're right, Hitler was a good guy.
Yeah, right. Right. He's like, oh, he did it. Here's $50.
Oh, chomo means child molesters. Those do go in the wood chipper. Derek.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm not up to date on my child molesting lingo. So, yeah, I feel like the scary thing is, like I said, the 2025 people we don't know exactly what their agenda is.
But nobody's signed on
Well,
to
we
it.
know Donald Trump's the kind of person that would sign on to it. He'd be
If
like,
he
"That's
felt
a-"
like he'd get him votes.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
he'd be like, that's a great idea.
I'm going to do that.
And you could push whatever you wanted through with him,
And
as
you-
long as you're
Yeah.
boosting his freaking ego.
Yeah, and plus, yes, and what boosts your ego more than 50,000 more yes men?
50,000 more yes men and a whole year's worth of celebration.
Yes,
and
flying cars.
And we're gonna probably unveil a statue of Donald Trump and his gold hair.
He's
going to
be the next face on Mount Rushmore.
That, or he might just get his own like statue,
like Statue of Liberty.
Yeah,
type
maybe
thing.
they replace the Statue of Liberty with
Oh,
Donald
God.
Trump.
Yes, and although his
Instead of-
hair's on fire.
I was gonna say his hair is up glowing instead of the
Yeah,
torch.
yeah.
The hair of freedom.
The golden mane.
Bring your tired and your whatever, and I'll lock him up.
Yeah,
in Guantanamo Bay.
except for these countries.
Yeah. Bring all your tired so we can put them in jail.
Yeah.
I don't know. Final thoughts. I want to get out of here.
Yeah, no,
I don't have much intelligent to talk about this because there's so little.
Well, and that's
there's
the
just
thing.
so much conjecture about it.
It, like you said, it's just fear porn. It's one more thing they're trying to put on to scare people about Trump. That's
And
all
it's
it is.
probably real too.
Possibly, but that's how politics is today, right? Think tanks come, they create a playbook, they try to wrangle in the hot politician, be like, hey, this is a great plan, you should follow this. This is what it'll do
Right.
for you. And that's how it's done. That's what Biden's doing now. He's following a playbook.
Yeah, and he doesn't even know it because he's eating ice cream and
Exactly.
he can't
And
think.
sniffing people.
Yes. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to the 2025 election.
It's gonna be a shit show.
You know who you should vote for?
Josh Smith.
Vote for Josh Smith because he's going to fire them all. And he's not going to hire a bunch of yes men. He's just going to fire them all. And he's going to be like, that's it. That's all.
Yep.
That's all.
That's it.
Thanks.
He ain't coming back.
Thanks for voting. Vote for Josh Smith and all this goes away.
Yeah. Close down DC.
I'm fine with that.
Right?
Send them all to Guantanamo Bay.
Exactly.
Just send everybody. Just send everybody to Guantanamo Bay.
Yes.
Then that's it.
Yeah.
That's the end of it.
I'm good.
I don't know. I have no political opinion. This is all bullshit. Either way, democracy is probably going to end anyway.
It's well on its way.
Yeah, because I'm a democracy expert and I know
Yes.
that democracy is not doing so great. And
Not looking good.
I don't think it has been for a very long time. They just want us to keep they want us to keep believing in democracy, but they've gone away from it so long ago. But now they're not even trying anymore.
Yeah.
They're like, well, vote for this fascist guy because if you don't vote for this fascist guy, this dictator guy over here will end democracy.
Right. Yeah. And in reality, they're ending democracy.
In reality, there never was democracy. And in reality, it probably doesn't matter who we vote for anyway, because whoever they want to steer the ship whatever direction they want, that's who they're going to put in.
Yeah.
Unless we just overthrow all of them.
Which I think we have to.
Pitchforks and tar and feathers and just get rid of all of them.
We need to get back to that.
On that note, I think it's time to get out of here.
Yes. Tar and feathering.
Tar
Bring
and
it back,
feathering.
2025.
Tar and feathering. Vote tar and feathering for 2024.
Yes.
That's my project 2025.
I like
is
it.
tar and feathers.
Yes.
Lots and lots of it. Bring
Yes.
back the tar. Bring back the feathers. Maybe, I don't know, because I like chickens. How many chickens need to die in order? Can we?
You don't have to use chickens. Geese.
Geese. Fucking
Yes.
geese.
Yes.
Yes, the Canadian kind too, because
Yes.
we hate the Canadians as well. Tar and Canadian geese feathers for 2025
Yes, that
for
should be a
Project
t-shirt.
2025. Yes. On that note, make sure you check us out all over the social medias. You can find us at our handle at Break the Bell Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Share us far and wide and vote tar and feathering for Project 2025. Have a great rest of your week. We'll be back probably next Monday night, I would assume. I think we're
Probably.
back on track.
I believe
I
so.
think we're back on track.
Yes.
We'll find out though. Make sure you join us. If you're listening in the future in podcast land, come back and join us for a live show. be part of the conversation, join the chats, all that stuff. The comment section's always open. Tell us what you think of this Project 2025.
Yeah. Real threat or what?
You were going to talk about the freaking lady.
Oh yeah. Do we have time?
We got time.
Okay, all right. So yeah, so
forget everything I just said.
Yeah, all right.
He's got a story.
Yeah, so this lady, huge Trump fan, right? And she just kept saying, we're getting our country back in 2025. And apparently her idea, or I don't know if it's her idea or this is what goes under the underground cables.
I'm sure it's something that she's been spoon-fed through the 4chans and through the through the Reddits and all that stuff.
Is that Trump has been president this whole time?
Oh, yes.
And he had to step. He made it look like he lost the election and stepped down so that he could bring Biden and Obama to the forefront so he could prosecute them, because Obama's been hiding, and so he had to go after he knew Obama was behind Biden the whole time. And so the only way he could get to Obama is by pretending to lose the election. And so he's going to take out Biden and Obama, and then he's going to and then Michelle, what she called Michael, is going to step up to the platform, right? And then Trump closes his trap. He has them all. They all go to jail. He takes his rightful place ahead of the country, and we have all 1776 freedom all over again. Probably a year-long party.
What?
Master plan.
What? Okay. As much as I would love to see this all come true, what is this based on?
I don't know.
Like, based on what?
My guess is
Q still a thing?
I think it has to be. That has to be a Q thing. Because, yes, all the pedophiles are going to jail. He's draining the swamp. Biden and Obama are going to jail. And Trump comes riding on a white horse, and hell comes with him.
Okay.
Yes. And I think I texted you. I said there's going to be a lot of suicidal people in 2025 when they find out that none of this is real.
Tar and Feathers for 2025.
Yes.
Check us out all over social media.
It's more real.
Please check us out all over social medias. That just gave me a really bad headache.
You're welcome.
Wow. On that note, have a great rest of your week.
Peace.
We'll catch you next time.
The Break the Bell podcast is brought to you by you. So pat yourself on the back, because without you, we would be talking to ourselves. A special thanks to our Patreon members, Justin Zielinski, Remzo Martinez, Stephanie Parker, and T.O. Jacobson. A shout out to our sponsors, Run Your Mouth Coffee, the On the Run podcast, and Goulash Media. If you'd like to help support us, visit patreon.com/breakthebell or buy our garbage at breakthebell.bigcartel.com. Get back here next week and let us continue to invade your ear holes. And as always, never stop talking.